the room. "QB, where are you?" A black Doberman pinscher with tall ears and a long tail crawled out from beneath the one big bed. "There she is." Hecate reached over and patted the dog on the head. "Were you spying on us?" "Absolutely," the dog answered. Hecate laughed. "QB, this is Therese." "Pleasure," the dog said. "Likewise." Therese stroked QB's back, wishing Clifford had taken her seriously when she'd announced that she was moving out of Than's rooms. Instead, he'd given her an unconcerned stare as she had said goodbye and "I mean it this time." "I have a dog too. Maybe you would like to meet him." "Is he intelligent?" QB asked. "He's pretty smart." As the goddess of animal companions, Therese had met quite a lot of dogs, and she felt positive that Clifford was as smart as any of them. "But probably not as smart as QB," Hecate said. "She was once the Queen of Troy." Before Therese could ask why a former Queen of Troy was now a dog, the floor trembled beneath their feet, followed by a loud boom. Therese clutched the wall as Hecate fell back on the bed and shouted, "Ah!" "What was that?" Therese asked when the floor stabilized. "I don't know." Hecate's voice was frantic. "I can't get a prayer through to Hades or to Percy." Therese tried too, but sensed no response. Blood pounded in her head as the ground began to quake again. She clutched the locket at her throat and prayed to Athena, but got no answer. "Will these walls hold?" She glanced up at the ceiling, a host of scenarios playing through her mind. If the walls of the Underworld were to crumble, what would happen to its billions of inhabitants, including the souls of her mom and dad? "Where are they, Hades and Persephone?" Therese asked. Hecate winced as another boom sounded throughout the chamber. "Mount Olympus!" Just then, a crack ran across the ground, up the wall, and through the dome ceiling. "It's going to collapse!" Therese shouted. Small chunks of the ceiling fell on the bed, on the golden table by the hearth, and in the water basin, causing Galen to leap from her pillow and into Hecate's arms. "Clifford and Jules!" Therese cried. "They're in Than's rooms." Her stomach balled into a knot when she imagined them harmed. "I'll go with you." Hecate set Galen down on the bed and spoke to the shivering weasel. "You and QB go to Demeter's winter cabin and wait for me there, okay?" More rocks crumbled down the walls as a series of booms sounded throughout the chamber. The stream, which once ran gently down the wall, shot out, spraying in all directions. "I'm not leaving you!" Galen returned to her mistress's arms. "Nor I," QB declared. Soaked and trembling, the four of them rushed down the winding path along the phlegathon, dodging the falling rocks. Cracks chased them all across the walls, and loud booms shuddered through the air. Therese was afraid to pray to Than, worried he'd god travel straight into danger. Even in her limited experience, she knew that if you arrived at a point occupied by solid mass, such as a large boulder, your body composition would momentarily meld with it. She'd discovered this problem when she once arrived in a brick wall. It had taken over an hour to recover, and the pain had been excruciating. She found Clifford barking nervously by the hearth. "Come on, boy, we've got to get stormy." Therese carried Jules like a football in the crook of one arm as the group scurried down the narrow passageways toward the stables. She wondered if Than would be angry with her for not calling to him right away. He was already angry with her, and she didn't want to put another rift between them. As they passed by the intersection of the Lethe and the Styx, deities cried out, and although Therese and Hecate slowed down and searched the waters, they could not find the source of the cries. QB said she'd stay behind and keep searching. When Therese rounded a corner, a colony of bats whirred up from a crevice below and fluttered past them, and then out climbed Tizzy, up from Tartarus, with blood dripping down one arm. "What is happening?" Tizzy demanded, her black serpentine curls covered in